Okay, everybody. So, after the disappointment last night, it was a Comfort Inn & Suites deal through the Interval Hotel Priceline Partners system. So today, as I said before, my sister gave me hell, so we booked with the Hilton app at a Home2Suites. This one is in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And so it was $50 more a night. So I guess you get what you pay for in some regards. After tax, this was about $153. But this is the bathroom. It's in a kind of a weird location. Not the bathroom, but the hotel itself. Behind an old folks home, but they have good signage, which is nice. We were also able to use the diamond parking. Now the downside here is this is one of those not a real door, like
pretty heavy duty.
Yeah,
Like it's better than a lot of them.
It's better than a lot of them, but yeah, this is really, they should have a real door here. They have the space for it, like it could easily swing here and into the kitchen area. They have a much bigger fridge. They have a microwave. They have plates,
Everything is clean.
cups. Everything is clean. They have a dishwasher, which I did not expect. They have a sink here in the kitchen area. Inside the bathroom, like my sister was complaining before, they have a sink, which, again, sinks in places you would expect them to be, in places that make sense. They have the same kind of couch. Well, actually, not exactly. It doesn't have the long chase lounge or whatever, but I think it's a pull-out bed. This is all much better looking. There's a curtain if you wanted to, for some reason, block off the couch area. Not quite as nice as like an Embassy Suites where they'll have like a separate room in a lot of cases, but yeah, this has got useful shelving. They don't have a real closet. I keep getting disappointed. Not that we really use it. They just have this curtain thing, so you can see where, you know, they are saving money. It's one of the things I didn't really love about the Hampton Inn redesigns, but here you've got multiple little side tables. There you go, end tables, and that's a good thing. Hopefully the beds are nice. I can't imagine that they're going to be bad, and everything here, like my sister said, is cleaner.
Yes.
Let's let her give her statement. At least
It's nice and
initially.
clean. It doesn't feel dingy and run down and dirty. They cleaned everything so far as we can tell.
It's at least not obvious as soon as you walk in.
Right. It's not obvious. There's no weird smell. It doesn't smell like cat litter in the bathroom. There's no bugs that I have seen. Everything is nice and updated, and it's a lot bigger too, I think. I mean, there's 2 desks, this big countertop here. There's places to set stuff down. Which in the other one, we had like one little table about this big to put like his CPAP, our phones, my water bottle, you know, my glasses at night, and everything was falling on the floor. And now we've got
3
one here. There's a big middle one on the other side.
And here, well, I don't know if you could tell, yeah, it's definitely bigger because there's enough room to actually walk through here
Yeah, there's
without
about
hitting somebody.
Maybe 2 feet in the other one between the beds. It felt very tight in there. So.
Very cramped. I think, again, if I was going to give Hilton...
I think it's just a much more efficient use of space. Like, I mean, it's not like I don't think the overall room size is like dramatically larger, but it feels like
a smarter use.
Yeah,
This-
and the setup is better too because the bathroom is further from the beds, whereas the other one it was like the beds and the bathroom was like literally right there, and the kitchen was like off separated. So like just as far as like, you know, people sleeping, if somebody's taking a shower or in the bathroom, you know, banging around or whatever, like it's not going to be right next to the bed. Yeah.
I think one of the things I would say is this also reminds me a little bit of stuff that I say in the computer realm all the time about Lenovo. And Hilton here, again, in comparison to like the Comfort Inn & Suites, it kind of shows that, well, they did have to, or they felt they needed to do some cost cutting and some changes to design that maybe isn't my favorite thing. They did think about how you're going to use the space and efficient ways to use the space. And they thought about things like, you know, what are you going to use in a kitchen? You know, what are you going to use in a bedroom. Obvious things, like my sister said, like the tables. They know people have devices. They might have medical things. They might just want to have their phone nearby. And they also thought about, okay, this is a 2 queen bed unit, so there's probably going to be at least 3 people, maybe 4 or even 6 if you look at with the pull-out couches. So they did think about, like, okay, if we're going to just like throw some kids on the pull-out couch, we're going to have a little bit of privacy. They did think about things like, okay, we're going to do this weird slidey door, but it's not a barn door. It's like in there. It does have a latch. It's certainly better than like beads or something. And like my sister said, it's away from the sleeping area. And so there's just stuff here. You can tell they thought about it. Now the negatives, the things that immediately do jump out to me that I would tell Hilton that they could, of course, improve, I think, is kind of like all these places. What is with the light switch here to turn on the light there? Like, you're coming into a dark area from over there. Why not have like a light switch that by default turns everything on or off, and then have overrides right at the place? So when you first come in,
I found when I first came in, it was very dark. The first light switch I could find was the one in the bathroom, and then I could see to like come in and find all the other light switches hidden in various places.
now I can't say this is a Hilton problem. We see this in all the timeshares. We see it everywhere. Maybe we just don't jive with how light engineers think things should be. I don't know. But that's one thing I would say is like improve that a little bit.
Look at all these outlets too. Like there's like a whole
Right.
every
Right. So they were thinking like you might have stuff to plug in. You've got accessible outlets. They're not where they're going to be hit all the time by housekeeping or anything. They're just easily accessible. And then they were thinking, again, they've updated to where the lights have an outlet on them, have a USB port on them, a USB-A, and then I believe
side tables.
on the night tables, yeah.
And on the lamp.
So on the night tables here, and on the lamp, we got a power plug here. We've got down here your multiple power plugs, your USB-A for power. So again, they're thinking you don't need to bring your own power strip like I do, because I don't trust so many different hotels and places, but you don't need to bring it here. You can just plug your cables in, or maybe your little charger in. But rambling about the power being great, like that is a great update to see. They actually are changing with the times. You are getting something for the more money at a more modern or newer renovated. I don't know if this is a newer build or newer renovated, but location. But the things I would say is I kind of follow along with everybody else. I'd almost prefer you just don't bother with a closet than this kind of weird thing with just a curtain. I don't know. I mean, again, this is personal preference. It just makes it seem cheap. And in a way, I would prefer to just have this be open space with maybe like another luggage rack or something. Because you don't need... I don't need when I'm traveling. Yeah, the one luggage rack was in here. But like, I think there's a small number of people nowadays who are actually like hanging things up in their hotels. I mean, there might be a few, but I don't know anybody. I can't think of a time that I've heard from anybody about you actually using an iron. I mean, it's...
You're traveling.
Yeah.
You're traveling for work and you have to iron it.
Maybe.
That's the times I've used it, because when you pack things into your luggage, like you have to
Right.
dress
Yeah,
clothes
I
and-
did that once on when I went for an interview.
We don't go on a lot of work-related trips, but some people are traveling for business all the time, so that makes
I guess what I would say, though, is with the amount of brands Hilton has, I would almost, and the fact that they all seem to be like within 2 miles of each other, like maybe have a business brand and then an everybody else brand so that you can focus on these things. That might be something I would suggest trying to do, because again, there's more that you could do for the business traveler, I think, more efficiently if you are doing like a hotel that's targeted to that. And again, because you've got so many brands. They got Home2Suites, they got Home2Suites, they got Hilton Garden Inn, Hampton Inn, Doubletree, like, there's like 50 of them. So again, True, Spark, blah, blah, blah. You could have business. I don't know. But anyway, I think trying to be everything to everyone at this point may be a mistake. That's just the thing I would change. And then, like I said, the only other thing that I would really think would be nice is instead of having like a sliding door, maybe for the bathroom, have a real door for the bathroom. They have space. There is definitely space. You can see that the door coming in is a full door. It can swing open. There's enough space. So they have a real door for the bathroom. And if you want to have a sliding door or something, maybe instead of doing this curtain thing, do like in some gyms or something where it's like kind of like a divider that slides out or something like that. I guess like where it would actually do something. But otherwise, I just felt like I had to throw some suggestions in here. But this is obviously better. And I think it just reinvigorates our feeling that, like, we don't want to be those people who got a Hilton credit card in 2008 and then just always stayed at Hilton Properties forever and never checked out anybody else. I wanted to make sure that we did some due diligence. And I think we've done 3 now. In different places and different chains. 2 of those were quite the disappointment. One was fine, was fine, a little out of the way, but otherwise good. The full Holiday Inn. I don't know if I'm going to make an effort to really cross compare with Marriott brands, which I think is probably what people are thinking is the obvious thing. But if you're me, I'm not going to get a discount on staying at a Marriott versus a Hilton. Like, they're going to have very similar pricing in the same area, and I just get a heck of a lot of benefits from staying with the card in the Hilton Honors program. So I strongly thought before, and I still think now, if you were thinking about saying, I don't want to just go to Hilton Properties, I don't know that there would be a reason to switch to Marriott Properties if you're already in Hilton Honors, and maybe vice versa. But I can say that there's an obvious reason to try out the other properties that I have been. It's saving between 35 and 60% per night. But I'll try a few more here and there, but it's not going to be the first thing I try. I'll try and do 1 on every trip, maybe something like that, just to get through some of the other brands so that I know what I'm talking about. My sister's giving me quite the face right now. She doesn't want to do that. So, but anyway, I don't think that there's an obvious, like, okay, Hilton's properties have fallen a lot or they're massively overcharging. I do think you're getting a much better experience, at least so far, driving up and down the East Coast, staying in Hilton Properties. The only one that has kind of compared, but again, you didn't really get a discount, was Drury, and they're not like Marriott or Hilton or Choice or Comfort or whatever. They're rare where you can find them in my experience. They have expanded a little bit, but you're not going to find it on every roadside stop the way you will find something from the other brands, it seems. Okay, now I feel a little silly after a bunch of my ranting and stuff. I did come up with one good use for this closet thing, which is you can actually get in it and like close it up, and there's actually like, it's not hard to like stand in here, like you can fit, and so you could like use this as like a dressing room or a changing room or something. There's you've got your little hangers right here, and it's it's mostly translucent, it's you could sort of see through it a little bit from the inside, but I don't think you can really see through it from the outside at all. So, unless you put a big light in there. So, okay, Hilton, I guess I give you if you think about it, it could be useful as like an extra changing area. All right, and it was a good experience staying at this Home2Suites, and I think on the Tug-A scale, I'm going to have to give it a 7.5, which is a pretty good rating for me. I say it was quite a good stay at a standard kind of average hotel location, and exactly what you'd expect from a company keeping to brand standards.